everybody, and welcome to This Week in Mobile. I'm your host, Ashley Esqueda, and we have officially answered the age-old question, will an iPhone 4 blend? Blend Tech has answered it, and it does. I'm here with Mike Hobbs.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Hi,
Apple apologist.
Don't say that, but thanks. Nice to be here.
And
I'm not going to apologize for anything this week, I'll tell you right now.
All right. Well, we'll see about that.
Okay.
So I finally did it. I rooted my Evo. Well, actually, no. Well, just kidding.
You tried. You started to root your Evo.
I got to the. I'm not kidding when I say I got to the 56th step of rooting my Evo and then hit a brick wall. And by brick wall, I mean I bricked my phone and factory reset it, and because the Android backup wouldn't work. And so you've bested me this time, Root, but I will get you next time. So I'm kind of glad that, you know, well, I'm not glad that Jeff's not here, but I've been worried that you guys have been like going to get in a fist fight at some point.
Why?
Because he's so anti-Apple and you're so pro-Apple.
Oh, well, he's not that bad.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure he feels the same way about you. He's not
Okay.
that bad. Was the blending hard to watch?
No, of course, it's always funny to hear somebody screaming no in slow motion. So it wasn't hard to watch. It was pretty amazing.
I was hoping they were going to put a Wilhelm, like, as the iPhone. Like,
right as it starts to crack up. No.
That would be great.
But,
Well, later in the show, we're going to get in our DeLorean and head to this past Wednesday, where me, Mike, and Jeff all interviewed Jake Levant of Fring via Skype and how it's changing the face of video calling. But before that, we're going to get into the news. So let's hit the news. Well, I suppose it was inevitable in this crazy, crazy country we live in. Apple got slapped in the face with one of what we're guessing is going to be a myriad of class action lawsuits regarding its handling of the iPhone 4 launch and its subsequent hardware issues. Plaintiffs filing, general negligence, Apple and AT&T, defect in design, manufacture, and assembly, Apple, breach of express warranty, Apple, breach of implied warranty for merchantability, which I don't even know what that means, Apple and AT&T. We should have a lawyer come in here, like a patent lawyer.
Yep.
Breach of implied warranty of fitness for a particular purpose, deceptive trade practices, intentional misrepresentation, negligent misrepresentation, fraud by concealment. They're really throwing it. They're throwing the book at Apple.
Yeah, of course. I was listening a little bit to the Engadget podcast today, and one of those guys on there, Nilay, is a lawyer, and he was talking a little bit about this. And apparently, this hasn't even gone to the point where it's a class action yet. This is still just preliminary, basically just law firms trying to get publicity for themselves, because this is such a huge thing. And
well, I know they're already ramping up one in California too.
Oh,
this is in Maryland, right?
Right. I'm sure these things are going to come out of the woodwork, and for sure, Apple does have some issue here. There is something which we don't know all.
Well, they admitted today that this morning, Apple admitted that there was some problem with the phone showing more bars than were actually available.
Well, yeah, they're saying
some algorithm
that they use
incorrect.
the algorithm they've been using since the beginning of the iPhone, a strange algorithm where it shows you the way that they calculate the strength is.
Does that seem fishy to you?
It doesn't.
That seems like a bunch of BS to me.
I get that they're using a screwy way of showing you the actual strength of your signal with the bars, but it has nothing to do with this issue of people losing a lot of the signal.
Losing connectivity, you're right, holding the phone in their left hand.
Well, there's a difference, but that's losing some of the bars on the end, actually dropping calls are two different things. And not that many people actually are dropping calls because of this problem. It's more of, I think, the way the signal is indicated, and there is attenuation that's happening when you hold it down there a lot, but that's true of almost any phone. And every phone has.
I don't know if it's that bad, though. I mean, to see it physically just drop down to nothing. See, it strikes me as odd.
It is odd.
And someone brought this to my attention the other day, which I thought is a very good point, which is Apple has never made an official Apple case or a bumper, anything like that. They've always let third-party companies make it. And mysteriously, now that the iPhone 4 is launched, they all of a sudden have a case. Like, oh, we have this $30 bumper just in case you don't want to bump your phone. But it's like, also, it seems to me like somebody caught that issue close to launch, and then they said, quick, we need to think of something. And by the way, if you don't want to spend $30 on that bumper, you can actually, a very enterprising individual online discovered that you can get a Livestrong bracelet or any variant of that and cut a really small hole in it to let out the pins.
Right.
And you can make your own bumper.
Yeah, your own cheap little bumper.
For $1.
Sure. I would use a wrist strong. I don't really like Lance Armstrong.
And you can be wrist strong. Yes, we're all
use
Stephen
a wrist
Colbert
strong.
and wrist strong.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know the whole. I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody. I mean, no offense to anybody out there who might be suing Apple, but like, come on, guys, really? Like,
the thing's only been out for a week.
Right. And if you don't like it, take it back.
If you have 30, there's always that. I mean, if you're really that upset with it, you have 30
really
days.
That upset, if you're suing mad.
If you hate it that much, if you're dropping calls left and right, just take it back. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But
obviously you're unhappy with not only the phone itself, but you're not happy with AT&T, which is really the root of a lot
and the thing
of
I mean,
this
is such a complex issue because it happens from person to person, phone to phone. It's not a uniform problem. There's definitely something going on, but it's just going to take time, and Apple is, of course, being as cagey as they can be.
Yeah.
As a big corporation.
Well, and for anybody who read those exchanges on the internet about Steve Jobs saying like it's just a phone, let it go, like calm down, like I was like, those were ruled a hoax.
Those was some of them were specifically.
Yeah, hoax. Somebody faked that email. Yeah, I love this. Nuno Maya is saying in our chat, Lance Armstrong, 7-time Tour de France champion and also an iPhone fixer. Like, I like that. Is there anything he can't do?
Nope.
He fathered a child with one testicle. Do you know that?
Anyway, I'm not a fan of Lance Armstrong, so I don't have anything positive to say about that guy.
Okay, all right. Except for nothing positive. I see what you did there. So anyway, I have to say, even though there's a lawsuit, Apple is obviously doing something right because they sold 1.7 million iPhones through Saturday, June 26th.
Yeah, just through Saturday. Which
just through.
That must have been pretty much their stock, though.
That's it. That has
I think
to be
it sold
everything.
out. It was sold out. That was pretty much what they had on hand. Probably about 2 million.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's terrifying. I don't like. That's the only thing I have to say. I have nothing. It's insane.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. But I mean, you think that there are probably plenty of people that had the first iPhone still hanging on waiting. People with the first 3G hanging on waiting. I think there were plenty of people that were just waiting for this new one to come out, and it was such a different phone from the previous two that they couldn't wait.
Yeah, I guess. So I mean, I can see. I guess I can see where people would be, especially like you said.
I don't know if it's a lot of brand new iPhone users or not. I think it's probably people upgrading.
Right. Well, I would say a lot of just regular 3G, non-3GS users who decided not to upgrade. Like they probably upgraded.
Yeah, all those people. I think all those people are waiting.
Yeah. So also terrifying this week, a little story from the Evo front. Apparently, the super shiny over-the-air that we were all talking about last week and excited to get actually bricked some Evos.
Yep.
That's bad. For those of you
that's about the worst thing that can happen.
Not playing along at home. Yeah, that's literally the worst thing that could possibly happen. So before we start screaming that the 4G sky is falling and filing class action lawsuits, it only affected a small number of Evos, but enough that Sprint actually pulled the over-the-air until the fix was found, which it only took a couple of days. If you're one of the unlucky bastards who actually did end up getting a bricked Evo, which I am so sorry for you, that's terrible. You can take it down to your local Sprint store that has a repair center, and they will factory reset it for you. I think only rooted Evos saw it happen.
Really?
To be fair, I mean, there's some people going, well, I didn't have a rooted Evo, and it happened to me. But, how many of those people are just saying that to save face so that they do not get, oh, well, I'm sorry, you voided your warranty by screwing around with the internals of the phone. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll never know.
We'll never know, except that that's kind of embarrassing.
We will never know. No. Android Swag was saying in our chat room, if you can factory reset, it's not bricked. Apparently, if you apply the over-the-air, it gives you the little phone symbol with the question mark on it that just sits. And so you can't do anything with your phone. You have to actually physically take it in. You have to take it? Well, okay. You could probably factory reset if you knew what you were doing.
Oh.
But if you didn't, and you were just some...
Well, let's call it a soft bricking.
Yeah. And see, and what happened was, they applied the update, and then, some people... And then they, double applied it, and so it messed up something in the phone.
So it was their fault.
Yes, it was. It absolutely was.
They double applied the update.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that.
So, I don't know. I think some of the rooters were fudging their...
Calling them liars?
I have a stock phone. I'm not calling them liars. I'm saying maybe they fibbed a little bit. It was just a little white fib.
Okay.
So, in other Android news, Now that Froyo is officially out on one handset, on one carrier, now we get to talk about 3.0, which is Gingerbread. I'm really excited about that. And yeah, and apparently FRF 9.1 is supposed to be the final build for Froyo, but I'm sure they'll have some minor, I'm sure there's something that'll be minor. I actually have a friend who, he got the Froyo update, and his battery life went from like 14 hours to 2.
Oh.
And he couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yep.
And he was really mad, and he actually ended up contacting Google about this, and he's actually right now, like today, emailing back and forth with, they assigned 2 Android developers, one Google developer and one Android developer, to his case, and they've been emailing back and forth, which I have to say, I'm really impressed with the level of customer service they provided, because if it was Apple or if it was Microsoft, they'd been like, hey kid, beat it. Sucks to be you. Like, we don't have time to deal with this. But apparently it's a certificate issue with Exchange. Like, there's a specific one for a school system, and it wasn't working. So it kept trying to re-verify it, and it just was draining his battery in like 2 hours. He was going to switch to an iPhone, and I told him not to. I said, no, I said, stop it. I was like, seriously, dude, no, you can't do this. And he was just like, I know I don't want to. And then he ended up contacting customer support for Google, and they actually went through a bunch of stuff with him, and then they were like, we're going to assign you some Android developers.
Sounds like a big, huge hassle to me.
Well, yeah. Too bad for you.
Yeah.
So, Gingerbread. We got to talk about Gingerbread.
Yeah.
So there's been some rumors flying around, and again, these are just rumors. Like, I don't want people to go running out, like, screaming about this, because I have a feeling this is going to happen anyway, but we don't know the hard numbers. Rumor says Elder Murtazen on Mobile Report, who is pretty good about, like, he's usually fairly reliable. Gingerbread's rumored to launch later this year. Obviously, we knew that, with a completely revamped UI. That was one of the rumors, which I don't know if it'll be complete, but we're going to see quite a bit of UI revamping, I'm assuming. And some serious minimum specs. Like, they're saying you won't be able to upgrade to 3.0 unless your phone has a 1 gigahertz processor, a 3.5-inch screen or bigger, and 512 megabytes of RAM. And those that don't make the cut, either you're going to have to hack your phone or live with 2.1 or 2.2 until you upgrade. So, just a rumor, no basis in reality. Again, don't panic, everyone. But for me, I think it's important to start cutting off older phones, because really, how far can you go? Like, if someone's got a G1, sorry, Michael Ludden of This Week in Video Games, yes, I'm talking about you, because I think you're like one of 10 people who still have a G1. At some point, you can't cater to those people. You can't say, okay, well, we're going to support a phone that is going to be almost 3 years old. You can't do that. Like, it's just not possible.
No, you can't. They have to do something like this. I mean, even though this is just a rumor, but I mean, it seems fairly reasonable that this is the path that they're going to take.
Right.
And they're going to lock out older devices, and because they're just, like you say, it's just hinders progress.
Well, okay, so somebody in our chat room, Blue Screen Kids, saying Cyanogen Mod has got 2.2 running on a G.1, and that is not meant to happen, and it's amazing. Totally fair to say. Like, 100% fine, but like, I'm talking about official releasing because the thing is there's so many phones. There's so many iterations of Android's operating system. We have Sense UI, we have, TouchWiz, we've got Moto Blur, we've got, whatever's on the Droid X, which is not being branded as Moto Blur, but it's got like custom widgets. It's some kind of blur.
It's some kind of blur.
Exactly. And see, the thing is like, for me, we can't have Android and Google developers and handset developers constantly going back, like, to bring older phones, especially really old phones like the G1, back up to spec. Like, hacker's great. Like, I think that's cool. If your phone can run it, do it. Like,
and people are gonna explore that, and they're gonna.
Of course, people are gonna explore that option. And Cyanogen Mod is Cyanogen is unbelievable. I mean, like, if you go to the site, it's just. Like, if you're into hacking on your phone, I'm gonna try to get him on the show. I'm gonna try to get them on the show, because I would love to be able to talk to them. But yeah, just really, like, for me, Google has got to stop. We've talked about this on This Week in Android. Google has got to slow down its large releases, its major build releases, and really, handset makers have to start seeing that. I know, good luck. People have got to start seeing that. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have a 3-year-old phone running the best.
No.
You can't have your phone running the best version of Android if your phone's 3 years old. Right. It's just not going to happen, and especially now when people are upgrading once a year.
No, of course. And it's already bad now with new phones coming out that are going to ship with 2.1, even though 2.2 is out. I mean, I think the days of these skins, I think, for Android has got to kind of end. And I think, and should end, because it's just, I mean, I can't imagine anything more frustrating than this.
Well, we talked about this last week where...
And it's going to keep coming up until I think they update Android to where, or at least there should always be the option on these phones to turn off the skin and just, I want to run straight Android on this device, so I don't know why.
You have to break it, you have to jailbreak it, and you've got to hack into it, and you've got to have the ROM for stock Android.
I don't get how Google is happy with that arrangement, with that setup.
Yeah, it seems
handset makers kind of running wild and making their own UIs.
Well, we talked about this last week. How basically Google is. Mike and I were discussing last week how I said, you know, haven't you ever read the book The Giver? Like, it's this utopian society, but like these horrible things happen in order to make it a utopian society, like behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that's Apple to me. Like, you know, they're cutting off developers and just being very closed, and to give the end user a please bear with me, a perfect experience and a utopian experience. And that's the Apple way. It's always been that way. Mm. And the thing is with Android, it's very much like the Wild Wild West. Like, it's guns a-blazing. There's, like, you know, boom towns everywhere. And it's like, at some point, Google and Android is going to have to industrialize and somehow get everybody organized. Yeah. Because you can't go on like that forever.
No. Yeah, because we don't live in the Wild West anymore.
Right. At some point, it's going to have to evolve. And so it's going to be a very difficult and fine line to walk, but I think that they can do it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we'll get away from that. Like, we have so much stuff this week. I'm sorry, everybody.
We have to blaze through this.
Yeah, I know. Blue Screen Kid, Apple Perfect Experience, LOL. I totally agree. Like, I am right there with you. But I just, like,
I'm
talking about in generalities. Yeah, it's the principle of it.
An analogy.
It's, no, and Android will stay open source, and splits will happen, and they will, as long as there's not one phone, one manufacturer, one carrier. Like, that's just the way it is. I mean, even the Palm Pre is the exact same phone, except with more memory on Verizon, but there's splits there. And you don't get the same update on WebOS on the same day for the Sprint Palm Pre as you do for the Palm Pre Plus on Verizon or AT&T. So, I don't know. Oh, gosh. Someone in our chat room just said they hope I can make the Big Android Barbecue. If you guys are out there and you like Android, go look up Big Android Barbecue. It's in Austin. I looked this up on the way over here, and I'm like dying to go. It's October 3rd, Sunday, October 3rd of this year, and it's in Austin, and it's like huge grassroots, like Android gathering. I'm dying to go.
Yeah, we'll try to go.
Totally want to be there. Okay, so we'll briefly go over this. If you have any interest in Palm and WebOS, which I do, I have more than a passing interest in it. Yeah. Hewlett-Packard officially now, as of yesterday, owns Palm.
Yeah, that's official.
They have officially acquired Palm, so get ready for those WebOS printers if you're out there.
I can't wait to see WebOS powering printers.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that's going to be. But tablets wise, that's what I want. I want a Hewlett-Packard WebOS powered tablet.
That could be beautiful.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, that could be nice.
It would be so beautiful, and like I don't know. I'm really excited about that. Okay.
They gotta get snapping.
So in Symbian news, Symbian Guru, which is one of the bigger Symbian websites, shut down, and they said that Nokia is losing hard, and really, I mean, some of the stuff they were saying, like the founders of the site came on, they wrote these long letters about why they were shutting the site down, and some of the quotes were just, like this is my favorite one. It was, I can't continue to support a manufacturer who puts out such craptastic flagships as the N97 and who expects me to use services that even most of Nokia's own employees don't use. I swear I could get a visa, buy an airplane ticket, travel to Texas, and talk to Ricky in person before Nokia messaging for IM loads and opens a conversation with him on my N97 Mini. Oop. Ow.
Ouch.
So, yeah, if you are a fan of that site, it is gone. Way of the dodo. Kind of a bummer. I mean, it's never fun to see something like a large fan site shut down.
Of course, it's sad.
Because then you're seeing it. I mean, really, you're seeing Symbian kind of die out.
Yeah, well, it's happening.
And they're moving to Migo. So speaking of Migo, we got to see handset versions of Migo.
Right. And
first appearances. Interesting. Some interesting comparisons there. Looks very much like WebOS and Android had a baby.
Yeah, it looks like kind of has like cards
Yeah, there's
like
sort
cards,
of almost a card system.
like card view, and then sea of icons, field of icons. Really pointy, crisp looking styling. I mean, very.
The backgrounds they use that were kind of weird.
Very weird. Well, what do you expect from?
They seemed a little bit. You know what? The UI seemed a little bit childlike to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I think they were a little bit. The colors they were had a little bit of that vibe. Yeah, it was very blocky.
Yeah, it was very blocky. Not.
Maybe it's very Finnish. I don't know too much about Finnish people. It could be very Finnish looking.
Maybe that's a big design. Maybe that's a big design thing in Finland.
It could be. But we'll see how it works. How it is, to actually use. If it's
I'm very curious to
fast.
see how that is.
I mean, it looks. You can't really tell. It doesn't look so great, but it could be very usable.
Yeah.
You never know.
And I guess Nokia also had announced officially that they're going to pass on Android totally. Like no Nokia phones will run Android ever, and focus on Migo from here on out. Which, I mean, that's probably the wise thing to do for them.
For them,
for now.
They got a lot of people working on it.
I have a lot of thoughts about this, and it would take up an entire show. I should really blog about this more, and I have a blog cooking about why some people were saying that I seemed really bitter about Apple, and I have this big long blog about.
I think it was me that said that.
Well, no, and so like two or three other people on Twitter were saying you seem so bitter about Apple, and the thing is I'm not at all. I think that it's not about being bitter. It's about demanding. It's about demanding accountability. That's for me. Sorry.
From Apple and from
AT&T.
About what?
About how horrible the iPhone launch has gone. Why not just admit that? Yeah, you know what?
How horrible it's gone when they sold 1.7 million, a disastrous launch.
Oh, shut up! I can't even listen to you, Apple apologist. God, I can't even listen to this. Your Apple hubris is filling up the whole room. I'm gonna start suffocating. Jesus.
Of course, it's been a kind of a bumpy launch. I don't think anyone would
disagree.
Kind of. Kind of, yeah. I mean,
people were logging into other people's accounts on AT&T, Mike.
Okay, well, we could just rehash the whole litany of minor issues
the stock lost $30.
3. I thought it was 3. It was like 2 something.
It was a lot.
It was like 2 something a share.
$30. That's how badly this has gone. They should have gone up. It should have gone up.
Okay.
You can't argue with me.
If the metric is the stock market, then...
I'm sorry, I'm choking to death. There's so much Apple ego in here. I'm sorry. Please move on to the next story. I know you've been dying to talk about this.
The next story is it's an Apple story, but this came from this came from Boy Genius. Their sources have said that this long-rumored iTunes cloud service might finally be coming, maybe by this fall. They're talking about 3 big parts of the service, which would be, this is very important, streaming iTunes content from Apple servers to all your devices. So like you say, you buy a song on your iPhone, you can access it from any of your other Apple devices or from your PC even. And the second thing would be to stream content from your computer out to your devices. Stuff that you own can be streamed out. And then finally, the third one is wireless iTunes syncing. So finally, you can just have your phone around your computer and you can have it sync back and forth without having to sync it with a cable in.
I wonder if you'll only just be able to add 1 or 2 songs. If they'll ever allow that to happen.
What do you mean?
Well, it's real frustrating. If you want to add 1 song to your iPod, you got to resync the whole thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, it should be. Hopefully, it'll be intelligent, and because it's pretty intelligent now. Between it'll only sync, what is changed,
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be as intelligent.
I don't know. We'll
and hopefully
see.
It'll be real fast because
this seems like a last-minute ploy after they announced in Gingerbread that there would be wireless.
No,
I'm
sure. I know they've been.
us too. We're working on that too.
Apple built that huge server farm, 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm sure they've been planning for this.
They're growing babies to kill them. They're not growing. This is not a server. It's got to be some sort of weird.
Where are you going here?
Matrix-like place where Steve Jobs grows some sort of weird children, mutants, where he skins them and wears them as turtlenecks. Those aren't. See, there's. This server farm thing is absolutely untrue.
Right.
This is not meant for actual mobile. This is not meant for mobile applications.
Why are you so suspicious?
Because it's Apple. Doesn't Apple strike you? A guy who wears the same clothes every day, that doesn't strike you as weird? See, it's right there.
Only when we see him on stage, he seems to have the same costume on, but.
No, he sleeps in that turtle. Mike, you cannot tell me you haven't thought about he showers in that outfit, and then he just gets into a giant machine that air dries him, and it's I'm telling you.
I think that sounds cool.
I think that sounds horrible.
I think I'm gonna look into that for myself.
I think that turtleneck's actually his skin.
And they had the, yeah.
They sprayed. No, it's just been warm for so long it turned black. Yes, exactly. Mark Jeffrey says he goes back to his Borg eye regeneration station. That's correct. Yep. All right, that's done for the news. We're gonna go on to epic win, epic fail, which is my personally. I like saying epic win, epic fail.
It's awesome.
So I totally called this. Not even a week after our last show, after I predicted people would start shooting, editing, and distributing movies all entirely on the iPhone 4 with its new iMovie capability. Some aspiring young filmmakers have gone and made a short 90-second film. So let's check that out because it's actually really good. I think it's the second. I think it's the second video on Vimeo. You have to go scroll down the page a little bit. Sorry, guys. They'll find it. It's yeah, I had the same trouble with it earlier.
I kept clicking on the thing.
It's yeah, there's like there's two different
it's just a picture of the
boxes,
movie.
yeah, and then there's like the second one with the behind the scenes thing. So there we go. Here we go.
Grandpa.
Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, shot entirely and edited entirely on an iPhone 4. And with us today, we actually have the filmmakers of the show. We have director Michael Koerbel and his writer-director, Anna Elizabeth James. And they're here with us today via Skype. So hi, guys. Thanks for coming on today.
Hey.
I'm hearing somebody else, some magical person somewhere else.
I think the behind-the-scenes video is still
Oh,
playing.
yeah, the behind-the-scenes. Okay, there we go. So that was really cool. You guys did a great job on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. So what inspired you guys to do this specifically? Like, what inspired you to do it? And did you know you wanted to do this before the iPhone 4 came out, or like once the iPhone 4 came out, did you say, okay, this project we've had in the in the till, like we want to go ahead and like make it happen on the iPhone?
I think we got our phone. Well, actually, we hadn't even gotten the phones yet. It was the night before, and we started talking about it, started thinking about it, and we were like, we could go make a movie, but we just wanted to test the quality. We really didn't want to, make a movie that millions of people would see. But that's what happened. So.
It never happens that way. You can't make a movie and intend for 10 people to see it, and then it'll get out.
Yeah, when you're in film school, you're just used to 10 people seeing it.
Yeah. No, I went to Chapman University and I totally understand. I was in the film and TV college too, so I know how many people actually end up seeing your projects. It's like your grandparents and like maybe a couple of your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, our producer Eric Edmonds, a graduate from Chapman.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh yeah, hey guys. So what was your favorite part of using the iPhone to make this?
Well, I mean, she loved the iMovie app, honestly. I love the camera. I love the fact that I could put it in the inside of a boxcar model train and get HD video. I mean, that for us was just the coolest thing. I mean, I know there's other cameras and stuff that can do that, but we had never actually had one in our possession that maybe could do that. So it was fun.
Yeah. It was, and we really liked how you guys had the, you had a lot of ingenuity in terms of getting, you know, you had the whole setup where you had, you know, it was very, you had like the trucking going, and you had the, you know, you guys had like a lot of stuff going on for just using a cell phone. I mean, like when you were putting it into the train and the behind the scenes video, by the way, if anybody wants to see more, they have a behind the scenes thing after the movie on Vimeo, and it is really cool, and I encourage you to check it out because you can see how they did everything, and it's just, it's really, really neat. And so, yeah, and you guys just really got creative with how to shoot this. And I'm really impressed with it. Like I saw it and I was like, this is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. So I know you have a lot of questions too.
Oh,
so.
well, Anna, you said you were interested in the iMovie. How did you find using that to make a little project like this? Because, you know, it's a lot of fun to use iMovie, but did you find it was a little limited? Did you get frustrated, or did you have fun cutting it together on this?
Yeah, it's interesting. You'd think, since I love to edit, I'd be like a real big techie, but I'm actually not. It's the one thing where I'm always grabbing my friends at USC, like, help me download, help me like do all this stuff. And so for me, like I mean, we were actually planning on putting it in Final Cut and cutting it there, but we were in the car. We were in a 5-hour car drive, and I was like, I'm just going to start cutting it in the phone. And so for me, it was like super easy. I mean, yeah, it was a little tedious bringing in the clips that we wanted and finding the area. But once I knew what we wanted, it was just a matter of just like pinching it and getting it down to like the exact clip.
The other thing that I think is really interesting about it too is anytime you download new software and using, especially I feel like in the video editing world, it's glitchy, it crashes, stuff like that. We had 15 gigabytes of HD video on this phone running through it, and the thing never hiccuped or crashed once. I literally was blown away. Like, it was really impressive. Yeah. So.
Yeah. One of our chat people asked, they said, I would get car sick working a phone for 5 hours in a car.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
I did. Well, luckily, like, we were driving straight, but when we hit LA and you hit all the, like, the turns on the freeway, I was like, boy. Oh, I'm car sick. I'm car sick. He's like, stop. You've been editing for 4 hours. I'm like,
you're like, don't vomit on the phone, please.
Yeah, exactly right. It's got all our footage on it.
Yeah, and there was
throw up anywhere, just anywhere but the phone.
Yeah, there was these little bugs that like crawled into the dolly bag, and so we were like flicking off bugs in the car.
On the way back, it was horrible.
Like,
oh man. So
only people knew.
So what's next for you guys? Like maybe a longer project? Are you guys planning on like going further with this, making like, you know, a 20-minute, you know, like senior thesis project, or even a full-length feature in the cards, like totally on iPhone? Or do you think that would be too much to ask of a mobile phone? Or like what's next for you guys? What are you guys doing next?
We actually, our next project is actually not an iPhone project. Although we talked about it, we have talked about it. We actually have a 3D project slated that we've been planning for a while, and in the process of, you know, the phone launch came out, we decided to put it on hold for a few days and do that. But we're actually in the process of waiting for that. And if you go to the link, there's all the info for that. But
yeah, go to magicpictures.com, and that will direct you to our information on Kickstarter, where we're raising the money for the 3D project.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We might do another iPhone movie down the road, but we're not sure yet.
Yeah.
Okay, and at Magic Pictures, isn't that spelled with a J? Like, didn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
like
good.
I was gonna say, I remember something that I remember like seeing that online. Look, it took me forever to find you guys online, and like I hunted you down this week. I felt like a bounty hunter. It was really disturbing, but I really like. I mean, I found the Magic Picture, so it's MAJIC.
MAJEK.
Ah, okay.
It's actually our initials combined.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah, and Elizabeth James, Michael Koerbel, the first letters make magic.
Very nice. Okay, cool. So we'll make sure to put that up on the website so people can find it. And I have to say, like, I was just so impressed with the production value of it. Was great. You guys got good actors. Like, even, I mean, you know, I have to say, like, it's so hard. If you ever make a movie doing anything, like, it is so hard to find good actors, even for something that's 90 seconds long. And you guys really did a great job casting that and getting the right people. And like, I mean, the guy's face at the end when the piano music comes on and he's just like, I'm going to tell you a story. Like, that's so great. It's so touching. It's like, that's wonderful. You have a great moment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we have a lot to thank in our team, especially our composer, Corey Wallace.
Yeah, he wrote the
score. The score is amazing.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. And so was the train the train depot was somebody you guys know,
It's
related
his father,
to?
I think.
It's my dad. He's had model trains his entire life, and that's kind of why the story is special to my heart. And I called Dad, and I've always wanted to make something about trains, just didn't know what. And I called Dad, and I was like, what if we came out tomorrow and shot your train set? He's like, well, it's going to be 118 degrees, but we'll run them if you want to.
Yeah,
man.
Michael almost on that windmill shot, like, people don't know this, but we had to do that like 15 times, that take. And he like literally almost passed out because he didn't drink water all day.
Oh, no.
And it was really bad.
Was he blowing the windmill? Was he making it turn?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
It's like, I'm so dehydrated. Help me. No, this is out in I'm totally gonna go off topic. This is out in the desert. Like, is this something that you can go see, right?
No, you can't. It's
That'd be awesome.
No, it's in Bullhead City, Arizona. It's actually in my mom and dad's backyard.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah, because there's something out in like Palm Desert that you can actually go see. It's like a model train thing where there's like somebody who has a whole bunch of model trains. I was wondering if it was the same place when I was watching the behind the scenes stuff. I was just like, oh my gosh, But yeah, no, I just I think it's all the time we have because we have so much more stuff to get to in the show. But I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show and talking to us about this. And really creative use of everything. Like I told you last week, somebody's going to come out. Some enterprising young people are going to come out with like a some movie or
make a little
very
little
cinematic and everything. And you guys really did it, and you did it within a week of me calling that. So thanks for making me look psychic.
You got it.
And and everybody, if you want to check it out again, it's Majek MAJEK Pictures.com, and I'm sure you guys will be doing more and more stuff in Hollywood and production and everything as the years go on. And good luck to you guys. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
All right.
Bye.
So that was Michael Koerbel and Anna Elizabeth James. Anna Elizabeth wrote and edited the movie, and then Michael directed it.
Co-wrote and directed it.
Co-wrote and directed it. So really cool.
Really great.
It's so good.
Creative and just having fun with the device.
I have to say, when I saw that, I went on my Evo and was like looking for something so that I could edit.
Yeah.
Because I went to school for television production. Like, I love editing. I love making movies and short comedy clips and things like that. And
did you find anything?
No. And I'm hoping that I'm really thinking that in Gingerbread we're gonna see.
And like Michael said,
video
it has never crashed. considering what it just churns through these clips and you can scrub them.
Which is really impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
I will, as somebody who has fought with Avid and fought with Final Cut Pro many, many times and cried over crashed projects that were not saved properly, I can honestly say that's very impressive and comforting to know that there's the likelihood of it crashing is fairly low.
To quote Steve Jobs, it just works.
But just don't hold it in your left hand.
Just don't give it the
If I wanted
grip.
to make an addendum to that quote. It just works.
That's fair enough.
Unless you're holding it in your left hand.
In which case it will still work. It just might drop a call if you're one of a handful of people.
It just might not work. It still works, but it might not work. That's basically what you're saying.
Nope.
Yep, that is what you're saying. So, okay, epic fail. We're going from epic win, the highest of the high, to the lowest of the low. I didn't call this one.
I like to say I called this one because I remember
you said
we were
that
watching
this
the press
was never
conference.
going to work. I almost swore on air because I know we talked about this and we were both swearing up a storm about it. Ken, where did the time go? You were only here but a short while, and now
6 weeks.
Back to the dust of the earth. You're at 6 weeks. It was in production, and it's failed, and Microsoft submitted it. A lot of bickering, apparently. A lot of bickering.
Yes.
I heard a rumor that 2 different teams were working on programming it at different times without talking to each other. So crazy stuff happening from inside the house of Microsoft.
Well, when you get big, things like this can happen.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Ken. We hardly knew ye.
We're so sorry for some people that have them and
that
might have loved them. I'm sure some
tens of people
love
are
them.
disappointed right now. Tens of people are upset.
Tweens everywhere.
That's not even. I don't even know who. Like a 6-year-olds everywhere who I'm not even sure.
Post things to their spot.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Rest in peace, Ken. And also, also T-Mobile killed off the Sidekick.
Yeah.
That was just, I mean, that wasn't even like a death. Like, it wasn't, they didn't even like die. They just like murdered him. Nope, no more.
It's done.
We're done. No more sidekicks.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I don't see anybody using sidekicks
No, that's
anymore.
the thing. Smartphones
it's just so outdated.
Yeah.
It's technology just passed both of them by.
That's
the
correct.
The kin didn't even show up in the right, like, time zone. Like, it was just like, they weren't even in the same country as everybody else technology-wise. It just never took off. And for good reason.
It just seemed like one of those marketing-led things. It just really had no business existing.
Yeah, like a group of suits thought up that idea.
Yeah, that the kids.
The same people who thought up the Samsung
The kids
Smiley.
love posting on Facebook. The kids love all this. They're gonna love. We're just gonna make a phone designed for that, and they're gonna love it.
They're gonna love it, and then they didn't. And they said, "I do not love this. I'm gonna go back to my Android or my iPhone or
some aspirational
product."
So yeah, they don't.
Yeah, there's. Oh boy, rest in peace, Ken. Epic fail of the week.
Well, nobody lost their job over it.
I'm sure somebody did.
Wow.
They'll find it something else.
I thought it sounded like they had moved everyone around just inside.
They just
moved people into
sprinkled
Windows,
them around
moved into
other...
Windows Phone 7, which I mean they really should have just been focused on Windows Phone 7 anyway. That you would splinter this into two is just silly.
Android Swag, I think you might be right. He's asked, wasn't Kin made up of guys from Danger, which were the guys behind the Sidekick? I actually think you're right on that. I will look that up, but I think you might be right.
No, it is. I think that's right.
I think that is correct. So, yeah, kind of bad luck.
It was because they bought Danger, and then they had to do something with that.
Yeah.
And that turned into the Kin.
Which...
They should have been axed. I mean, you know.
They should have just said, this is not a good idea.
Yes, they just needed
All right, we got to move on, because we're going to be like 15, 20 minutes late in the show. It's time. That's it for the news. Jump in your DeLorean. We're going to floor it to 88 because we're going to go back in time to Wednesday when we pre-interviewed and taped our lovely chat with Jake Levant of Fring. So it's time for App of the Week. Well, our app of the week this week is Fring, which is the alternative to chat options like FaceTime on iPhone and also Quick on the Evo. Was the very first video chat to actually be working when the Evo got launched. So that's always awesome. And today we have Jake Levant, the VP of Marketing over at Fring with us. Hi, how are you doing, Jake?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. You're all the way in Israel. You're in Tel Aviv. Is that right? You're 10 hours ahead.
You know, I am, and I meet you anytime, any place, anywhere. The only thing is, you got to promise me is next time we use Fring technology to do the video call, and not this alternative. What's the name of this alternative? We'll use Fring next time.
Yeah, exactly. I remember talking to you. I was just like, oh, I wish we could use Fring. Like, I feel so bad making you use like something that's not your technology to like talk to you. So tell us a little bit about Fring in terms of when it began and what it's about and how many chat services it actually supports.
Sure. Well, I wish I could take credit. I'm not that smart to have been the brainchild of the founder, so I'm a relative newcomer to the Fring family. Fring started back in 2006 with a bunch of vets from ICQ and pioneers in social networking, and this is great on the PC, but what the future is really on these babies, on these phones, and people start communicating, and let's bring some of the magic mobile. So you basically have some internet experts, some mobile experts, and people with a great social networking background who want to bring it together on mobile. So it was founded by three people way smarter than me. The CEO and founder, Avi Schechter, is our leader, fearless leader, and he's the one who's really creating a lot of the excitement, and he's got a super smart team around him, Alex Nurse and Boaz Zilberman. So that's the triad that's really kicked this thing off and has gotten the appreciation of millions of fans around the world.
Very cool. And how many people actually work for Fring? Like, how many people are involved with Fring? Because we've run the gamut from one-man crews to something like Pandora, which they said they had around 180. How many people work on Fring?
You know what? I just named you 3, and then you've met me 4. So we haven't made it through the entire company. There are about 30-something in the company.
Okay.
We call them
cool.
And we are the Fring team, and our users are the Fringsters. And
Gotcha.
if you want anything else, we can go to the Frinctionary and look it up.
The Frinctionary. I like that. I like that. Do you have any, Mike? I know you had a couple of questions.
Oh, hi, Jake. Yeah, this is Mike. I had a question about iOS 4. If you're working on an update for iOS 4 supporting fast app switching, at least, and maybe some of the other background features.
You know what? Absolutely. iPhone is a super hot platform for us. Just FYI, we were the first VoIP and first video call service available on iPhone. And so we're excited a lot about the new developments with iOS 4. And so you should be expecting some big news from us in the short run. I'm not going to reveal dates. You know, there's a process and due process here, but you'll hear about it and then you'll love it.
Right.
Cool.
So can we expect an update pretty soon, the next couple of months?
Yeah, please God. But it's, you know, there's a lot of dependencies here. So according to me, definitely our team is getting our ducks in order, and I think that we're ready. And we've got lots of people and lots of excitement about seeing some of the innovations that we can do with rich internet technology on a much more robust platform like iOS 4. So yeah, it's coming.
And what about Apple has described FaceTime as an open standard. What does that mean for Fring?
You know, FaceTime, I'm excited about it because we've been shouting about video calling for almost a year. And so when someone like Apple comes in and says, yeah, we also believe in it, I think this is great. Now, there's still lots of questions as to what this API really will be like. So excited to learn with them and see what the opportunities are. And if it's a quality API, well, you know, Fring's an innovator. If it gives us the ability to innovate for the users like we know how, then giddy up, we're on board and we're going to get involved with it. It's still a lot of questions about it. I think in theory, we're really excited about this, and they're bringing a lot of momentum to something that we've been excited about, video calling. So we're eager to learn more and see what the API really offers us and how much flexibility it allows us to drive innovation for the users.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is Jeff. I don't want to throw you too many hardball questions, but what sort of, since you're not a technical person, but what sort of technical problems have you guys had, or what have you had to overcome? What have been the main issues?
Well, thanks for being light on me because you know that I'm not such a techno guy. It's the issues that you face when you upgrade from this phone, which is, you know, what's that, old, and then you get this phone. And so there's a proliferation of phones, and each one's a little bit different. And so there's different experiences on each one, and we want to optimize not just for the platform, but for each user's experience. So it's exciting for us that many more phones and devices are getting into the game. So one is about the platforms and the different particular phones on the platform. And then the other thing, of course, is something that you and I experience even at the PC level, is the internet connection and the speeds we have there. So it's always we continue to try and optimize our service, as is the platforms and as are the networks, to enable us to give that rich communication that you and I love. So there's always the technical challenges that are involved there.
So you had mentioned the network being a factor, obviously, in development for something like Fring, or for Fring. So what kind of a response have you seen since, for example, the launch of the Evo, which is, you know, the U.S.'s first 4G phone? And how do you see the impact of 4G on Fring? I mean, obviously, it's a good thing, but what sort of penetration into the 4G market do you expect, and what kind of response have you seen since 4G is launched?
Hot dog is my first answer. It's so exciting that you've got front-facing cameras in America, and you got it on a powerful network. And you know, it doesn't mean that every problem's solved. It means that people are starting to see the potential. And you know, when we were at GPRS, people were saying, well, we were always pushing the barriers, pushing the limits, and seeing how far we could go. And we can innovate a little bit faster than the networks. But here we're getting to a level where the networks and the devices can keep up with the innovators and the tech and the solutions that we are providing. So I think that the Evo is a great example where we see a remarkable number. Someone has told me, I'm just going to hint at this, that a third of the Evo users are using Fring. And I see the huge uptick in this because it's a great experience. Now, not everyone's going to get that great experience. There's a lot of questions as to, are you in a 4G zone? Is the calling partner in a 4G zone? But this is a great device, and I got every device you can imagine. But this is a great device, and it gives a great experience. And of course, you can talk to your buddies on iPhone or on, even if you have Nokia friends, or you can go the gamut. And even this phone, which has got the camera on the backside, you know, we offer that video capability. But certainly, to the strength of the network, as the networks improve, we're going to see that more internet-rich communication really takes off. And the HTC Evo is just one mini case study in that.
So let's roll out like three different options. So you have like improving audio and video quality, optimizing video, adding new features, or expanding functionality. Like, if you could make one of those, I mean, obviously all of those are priorities for you, but if you could make one Fring's top priority right now, what would that be? Would it be adding new features, expanding functionality, bug fixing, or improving audio and video quality?
You know, I think that we've got the core services, and we see that the voice, video, and chat, those are the core features. In terms of adding niche add-ons here and there, we see that there's a lot of optimization around these three things that people are very familiar with on chat and VoIP. Those are more familiar, and in video, we're breaking new ground here. So there's a lot to do in terms of making sure that the user experience is at the right level, and then the innovation is around core services where people are comfortable. And we see that that's the triad that we're going to keep on delivering on.
Very cool. Do you?
Yeah, I have a couple questions actually. Are you guys working with different providers in terms of, like, AT&T is now going to start tiering their service in terms of amount of bandwidth you get? Are you guys all concerned about that, given the video is pretty high bandwidth?
Are we concerned about it? I think that it's, you know, I think that we're learning a lot here. I think it's great that we have created a whole new place to experience the internet, and that's on the mobile phone. And a lot of businesses up and down the food chain have had to think about the business model and the pricing structure. So I think that there's been a learning curve here about the all-you-can-eat strategy. And it doesn't make sense. Imagine you go to a buffet, you go there and you eat far more than you want, and because you're taking advantage of the system. So I think that there'll be, I'll call it right pricing. So right now we've been in a situation where there is no responsibility and people just consume regardless. But if you create a proposition which is compelling, engaging, and provides that unique benefit, I don't think that we've had any pushback from users who are in markets where they pay for each incremental data to our services. Calling is, well, it's, you know, it's breaking new ground in America, but we've seen already huge uptick in Europe and in places where you don't have all-you-can-eat packages. So we know the impact, and I think that it's beyond the cost component. Cost is one aspect, but the fact that I can video call my kids when I'm in a conference and they're going to bed, that's super cool. I can't do that from any device. And I understand that there may be a data component to that, but that's the rich internet that people want. And so there's a certain responsibility set that comes with that. And it's up and down the food chain. We're going to have to get our bearings on that, and we'll price data accordingly. So no, in short, no, I'm not afraid. I've seen it before, and if you deliver a compelling solution, users will flock to it.
Okay. So, because for those of us out there who might not be familiar with Fring or haven't used it before, what 9 services right now do you currently support? I know there's 9. So
there's so many. I want to say that first and foremost, we support Fring. So we have interconnectivity with many, but we really like to reserve the best for the Fring network. And there are millions and millions of Fringsters, as we call them. And when we innovate, we think about them in mind. Why? Because we can offer the highest services to them. So you're going to see more and more innovation being exclusive or because we can only offer it because we have direct connectivity. But we have interconnect with Gtalk, Twitter, ICQ, AOL. People keep on updating me. Last FM, the list goes on. So you can go to the website, fring.com, and check out the latest. There are other players, MSN and AOL. I forgot who I've said already. So there's, in short, there are millions of users on other networks, but the richest engagement will be found with other Fringsters. And so that's by design, technology. The boys in the back tell me that the magic that they're creating has, some of the constraints are that you have to have it between two Fringsters.
Very cool. So do you guys plan on at any point offering a feature to either archive or record video calls? I mean, especially for like we saw the FaceTime commercial that Sam Mendes made, and it's like there are moments in people's lives that I think they might experience that are, something that they are going to want to keep forever, that they have as a keepsake, like the first time, like the one thing that I saw was I don't remember what website it was on, but the guy, they were doing a video chat with FaceTime, and he flipped the camera around to show the Eiffel Tower. He was in France.
Yeah, I think that was Engadget.
Engadget? Okay, so Engadget had that, and I mean, that's like something that you might, like, that's like a moment I think that like some people may want to keep, like, or, moments where people don't necessarily may not have a camera handy, or things like that, where they can record something.
I think I don't know where we're going to go. We have a lot of great ideas, and we see the patterns of communication. We understand the mobile environment pretty well. Our focus is on real-time communication, and as opposed to other services which are about video broadcasting. And so when we stick to our knitting, and there's a lot of innovation in terms of creating awesome communication via the internet on the mobile phone. And that's the core offering. I know that there are video calls with my kids or my wife that I want to keep. But I don't know if that's how that will come into communication. And when you talk about what is Fring, it's real-time engagement. And so there's so many different ways to engage. Most of the world is still using SMS and just regular voice calls. There's a lot of innovation that we have in our direct field. I do know that every day there's 101 new that flow. So it could be that we go there. I don't know when. There's a great list of ideas that are on the table, and that's certainly up there. But I want to say that our focus is enriching communication.
Very cool. Mike, do you have any side? Like, I don't know. I always feel bad. I never want to like overtake the entire interview. So do you have anything?
You're the host. Jake, I was just wondering if you could describe quickly maybe the advantage of using Fring as opposed to something like Skype, if you didn't want to use that.
Sure. Fring is entirely mobile. Our focus is mobile, and the notion of freedom and mobility is core to who we are. So we live a mobile lifestyle. We think that these are the right places to be communicating on these babies, as opposed to me speaking to a TV screen, or even if it's 42 inches, it's still not comfortable for me. So this is the natural place. And because of that, we are far more advanced. We are able unrestricted communication. Meaning that you can do Wi-Fi or 3G. Everything we offer is on across whatever operator you want. So we're really open, and you can use our product with our competitors. You can call them competitors if you may, because we know that we offer a compelling service. And so we are really about opening the opportunities of rich internet communication. And you're experiencing that sometimes you have greater or lesser availability to some of the brands that you just talked about, and their expertise is not necessarily mobile. And what about video calling? Who else provides mobile video calling for free on 3G? I think that we are really understanding the mobile environment and being able to really drill down on that. And we also have interconnectivity. So the fact is that is one network that people can communicate with. They're in the main, they're locked to a PC, but we think that the real communication environment is on the go, and your friends on the go as well. And we want to provide deeper communication experiences with them, i.e., video as an example, and we want to provide wider, so you can do with different people, not just in one network, but across different networks.
well, really quickly for everybody out there, Fring is free. Like, you can go into the market, or you can go into the app store. I mean, you can go anywhere and get on your phone. Like, what phones and operating systems does Fring support? Because there's a few.
Yeah, there's a lot. So we could call them the hottest three are Android, iPhone, Nokia. We have Linux, Winmo, the J2ME, MeGo. I know I'm forgetting. We have some proprietary operating systems. So we have thousands of different devices that use Fring every day.
Right. So if you're out there and like you and your friends want to do like one of the things that always bums me out about like FaceTime, for example, like Mike's going to hate me for saying this, but one of the things that really like irritates me about something like FaceTime is that it's only available to someone else with an iPhone, and it's only available on Wi-Fi. And like I really feel like it's important to tell everybody that you can go out and get, you can both have something like Fring and use it and be able to communicate with each other without having to have the same kind of phone, the same operating system, the same, because we used Fring last night. We were having a lot of fun with it. And so I really think that, generally speaking, I want to make it really clear that like people can go out, like you guys out there watching can go out there and you can get Fring for free. More than likely, it's supported on your operating system for your phone as long as it has a camera on it, and you can use it. And it's, and there's even, you even have messaging in there. Like you can use Skype Messenger, not necessarily video chat. You can use AOL Instant Messenger's chat. There's different things and different services that you can use on Fring, and it's worth giving a try. So, Jake, I'm going to make this my last question. We saw Quick be a built-in option for the Evo when it launched. Do you guys, are you guys pushing to have, like some major phone launch, with Fring already pre-installed on the phone? Because I really feel like that was one thing that really sort of like shot Quick into the stratosphere. I mean, all things considered, it didn't exactly work when the phone launched, and that was sort of not a very good thing for them. And that's why a lot of people found Fring, because it was the other option when it didn't work, when they picked up their Evo. I know that's why I picked up Fring in the first place, because I was like, I want a video chat right now. I have my phone. I want a video chat. This is why I bought it. And I immediately got Fring because Quick wasn't working. So are you guys planning on really pushing to get some sort of partnership deal where you're pre-installed on a certain either operating system, iteration of Android like Sense UI, or Moto Blur, or Samsung Wiz Touch, is that the other? Samsung's Touch Wiz. I always forget that one. I always mess that up. So, are you guys looking to do something like that?
Yes, is the short answer. And we have done pre-install before. It's exciting. I want to tell you that when you have our millions of users have found us because they love it and they share it and they bring a friend to it. So I do think that it's because of the grassroots excitement around the product that you have manufacturers and operators coming to us. It's not the opposite way around in our instance. We've been blessed with a great product and very vocal friends like yourself who talk about the goodness of Fring. And so we've had, I can't say the names of them, but we've had dozens of manufacturers talk to us about making their devices more powerful, about bringing that awesome real-time communication to their devices and pre-installing it and making sure we're compatible and adding a front camera. You would be shocked to see all the front cameras which are being planned now, whereas a year ago no one thought about having it. So the answer is yes, we're in discussions. You're going to see more and more of it. It's happened already. And as a side note, I think Quick is a great app, and we wish them luck. We're in a bit of a different sphere, but video calling, I mean, as I said before, I think that it's a great space. And my daughter, you know what, she accepts that video calling is the new way to communicate. When we only do voice, she feels like that's listening to the radio. It's not like watching TV. She feels like something's missing.
That's a really interesting, like I had never thought of it that way, but that's a really good way to put it. It is like once you really start using it kind of on a regular basis and other people have it, it really is like watching TV as opposed to, listening to the radio or I really like the way that I really like that. That's a great comparison.
it's not all the time you want to watch the TV, but there's certainly a lot of instances which you'd rather be closer. Anyway, so the answer is more and more people are going to have it, and we get more and more industry support, manufacturer support, operator support of bringing it to people. So that means the Fring network will continue to grow, and I think that we'll have more people to Fring. Fring a friend.
Fring a friend. So let's say someone's out there, they're listening, they love it, they want to check it out. Like, where can they go no matter what? I mean, you can go to the Android market, obviously, the App Store. But where can they go online to find Fring on Twitter, on the internet, where are you guys online? Where can people find you? Where can they get it?
The easiest starting point is Fring.com. From there, you'll find everything. You'll find our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter. And you can download if you're not sure what operating system you have, we'll direct you from there. So go to Fring.com. We keep it simple and fun website because we want to get the app on your phone so you start enjoying it and having all those new phone experiences. So Fring.com is the place to get started with our app.
Very cool. I think that's all the time we have for our App of the Week segment. But Jake, thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate you talking to us about Fring. I mean, it's such a great app, and I really think that well, number one, I memean, you guys have a pretty decent size install base. Number one, so and number two, I love the idea of telling more people about Fring and how it works, and I really, again, like you said, it's like watching TV as opposed to listening to the radio, and I think this is the future of cell phones. So I really appreciate you, and all of us, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule, and we know you're 10 hours ahead, so we really extra appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to sit down and talk to us.
It's a pleasure. Ashley, thanks so much for the opportunity, and we'll Fring you later.
Yes, definitely. You know what? You're wearing a Fring shirt, and I think that some of those, I was going to say, I think a couple of them maybe need to make their way to our offices so that we can totally show off our cool Fring shirts, because I really like that.
Should I send you the Fring tattoos as well?
Oh yes, I absolutely. I'll give some away on Twitter, even if you want to send a shirt to give away on Twitter or something. I'm more than happy to give away something on Twitter.
All right, Ashley, it's in the mail.
Perfect. All right. Well, everybody, that was Fring. You can get Fring online at the Android market, the App Store. You can go to Fring.com, and you can find their Twitter, their YouTube, just like he said. Everybody go out there and get Fring. I mean, it's a really great app. And I mean,
we're gonna go check it out.
Face-to-face video chatting is it's so much fun. And it's a blast. I mean, we were horsing around on Fring last night. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was cool. I was on my computer. You were on your phone.
Yeah, it was great. And it's just such a good. It bridges the gap. I mean, I really feel like it bridges the gap. So everybody, Fring, go out there, Fring, go out there, pick it up, and that's our App of the Week. Oh, we've gone forward in time 3 whole days. 2 days.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Your hair looks the same.
I know, my hair does look the same. Weird. Amazing that I would wash it and style it the same way. Well, that's the end of our show. Thank you for sticking around. I know we went over it today, but we just had so much news and so many cool things this week, and we just really wanted to get everything out there. I just want to thank Mike Koerbel and Anna Elizabeth James from magicpictures.com for coming on the show today via Skype. Jake Levant of Fring, so awesome, such a cool guy. I mean, that's a guy I want to go hang out with.
Oh yeah, even though we just saw his head.
I want to go out. I know we only saw his head, but he seems like he'd be a cool head to hang out with. Take him out to a bar, have a drink. I'd want to take him. I'd want to take him out, go out and have a good time with him. I think he'd be really fun at a nightclub.
I don't know. Okay.
You're like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Well, thanks you for coming, Mike Hobbs.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here and try to do my best to hold up the Apple end.
If you'd like to hate on Mike Hobbs, feel free to find him on Twitter at Valis23. If you'd like to hate on me, you can do so at Android Ashley on Twitter, and you can also find the show. I always forget to mention the show, and I should, because the show is run by me too.
The show that we're watching now.
Twitter, yeah. This week in TWI_mobile. That's our Twitter.
Yep.
So we also have other shows, and because we have so many shows now, I'm going to spotlight 2 of my personal favorites. We have This Week in Music, which just started last night, actually.
That's a great show.
And let me tell you, super smoking hot host, Asha K. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this girl is like, she's gorgeous. And her accent melts hearts. She's Australian. I love her. Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, or I think it's 8:30. And then This Week in Comedy with the hilarious Ed Krasnick.
Yep.
During the comedy block, or the entertainment block on Sundays, which starts at 3 with the 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with the Kevin Pollak chat show. And then we have This Week in Comedy and This Week in Movies. So that's our show for the week. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
It started off bad with the iPhone blending for you. I know that was painful for you to see.
It was dramatic, but
it's gonna get worse when I tell you that was your iPhone.
Oh.
And that's just a fake.
Oh no.
But all right, well, that's our show for the week. And on behalf of everybody here at This Weekend and the show, This Week in Mobile, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.